Thank you, May. So I was wandering around here earlier today, and I actually ran into a woman who was at the 1848 convention. All right. I note a little distrust here in my conversation, right? No, it's the absolute truth. I just ran into none other than Lucretia Mott. Yeah, pretty good, huh? So Lucretia was with Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony at that fortuitous Wesleyan chapel. So I will now introduce you to Lucretia Mott.
I always spoke with divine guidance, but now they tell me I must be guided by the clock. 3 minutes. If thee has one of those devices that tells you when 3 minutes is up and I am still blathering on, please wave at me. Unfortunately, Susan B. Anthony was not here in 1848, but I was. And before there were 300 people, there were 5. And we were the ones who began it all. And we wrote at the beginning of our Declaration of Sentiments, the history of mankind is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations on the part of man toward woman, having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over her. When I saw Governor Hochul, I got tears in my eyes. But there are other tears too, the tears of knowing that all of these years later, all of you are still fighting to remove the establishment of an absolute tyranny over women. How no applause, or we'll never get through my 3 minutes. So how did we do it? We stood on shoulders. I was going to tell you who some of these women are, but I can't do it in 3 minutes. So I will tell you just their names, and if you want to find out, you will have to remember and look it all up. The shoulders of all the women among the 222 Wampanoag Indians who died in the Indian sickness of 1763 to 64 on Nantucket Island, where I made my home. Dorcas Honorable, last of the Wampanoags on Nantucket. Mary Starbuck, the great woman, daughter of Tristram Coffin, who settled Nantucket. My mother, Anna Folger Coffin. Maria Mitchell, my cousin, and first woman astronomer in this country. Tecumseh, 18th century female chief of the Miami tribe. Harriet Powers, Indian quilter and storyteller. Chief Earthwoman, Ojibwa warrior. Glory of the morning, Ho-Chunk chief. Eagle of Delight, Oto tribal emissary, and the last native speaker of the Mohegan Poquot language, Fidelia Fielding. We stood on the shoulders of landowner Margaret Brent, Margaret Corbin, the only woman to be buried at West Point under the name of Captain Molly. Margaret Fell Fox, I was a Quaker, and these are Quaker women. Margaret Fell Fox, Mary Dyer, Elizabeth Coggeshall, Sarah Pugh, Elizabeth Neal, my sister Martha Coffin Wright. And we stood on the shoulders of Mary Wollstonecraft, who wrote in Vindication of Women. We 5, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, my sister, Jane Hunt, Marianne McClintock, and then Elizabeth Smith Miller, and Amelia Bloomer, and Matilda Jocelyn Gage, and Susan Brownell Anthony, who was not there, Isabel Beecher Hooker, Lillian Devereaux Blake, Belva Lockwood, Lucy Stone, Julia Ward Howe, and Antoinette Brown Blackwell, and Black women, Grace and Sarah Mapps Douglas, Charlotte Fortin, Isabel Bumfree, who renamed herself Sojourner Truth, and Harriet Araminta Ross, who renamed herself as Harriet Tubman, Marianne Shad Carey, Charlotte Ray, Ida Barnett Wells. In the end of our declaration, we wrote, "In entering upon the great work before us, we anticipate no small amount of misconception, misrepresentation, and ridicule, but we shall use every instrumentality within our power to effect our object. We shall employ agents, circulate tracts, petition the state and national legislatures, and endeavor to enlist the pulpit and the press in our behalf." All of this was done. I died in 1880, and they tell me it took another 40 years, and I began my work with abolition in 1830. My motto was always take truth for authority and never authority for truth. And I say to you, if you have a complaint about what is happening in this country, I say to you, what are you doing about it?